Listen!
Dude, it's your old partner Taniki here. Now, depending on if this is the first video I put out after my grand return, you may be wondering, where have you been? Don't sweat that. I took the summer off to focus on myself, improve my life, and get a better setup. I got a capture card ordered and on the way, so more content with hopefully higher quality will be coming soon, but let's get into the reason that I've got you all here today. I'm a gamer, or what one would call a gamer. I like games, I grew up on them. I was only born in 2007, but my first game systems were the Xbox 360, the Wii, and the DS, so I had it pretty good coming up. So why am I talking about gaming like it's this lame thing that's not worth my time in the video title? Well, things have changed. I can't pinpoint the exact moment everything changed, but I can tell you right now, the late 2010s were the beginning of the end. Fortnite dropped, and still to this day I enjoy that game, but I feel like the ripples it caused were absolutely devastating on the gaming industry. Suddenly it was acceptable for games to release in an unfinished state, free to play with updates fixing bugs and adding content. Now, while this isn't always bad, it can be very quick to go wrong. Rogue Company, for example, remember that game? No? Exactly. According to my 3 minutes of research, once it stopped sitting at the top of Twitch streaming charts, Hi-Rez Studios just left it to rot. My Google searches also showed Reddit threads of players asking when the game would be updated again, if ever, mentioning that it had been over a year since new content was added to the game at that point. Mind you, these threads were made months ago, so by now it's probably closer to 2. Apparently the Nintendo Switch version of the game was also shut down over 2 years ago, and I was not even aware of that. Then of course, we also have the real bad offenders, paid games with elements of live service games. Major hitter in this league is Call of Duty. It started off fairly innocent with Modern Warfare 2019. We were just coming off the back of supply drops, a super notorious feature that a ton of people disliked. So to get word that we would instead be getting free content like maps, weapons, and characters through updates, and that supply drops would be replaced by battle passes, that was kind of a big deal. And for a time it worked out. Modern Warfare 2019 didn't feel like a cash grab. Warzone dropped as a free-to-play experience integrated with Modern Warfare. Free, but not shoving stuff in your face until you constantly buy it free. Then Black Ops Cold War came out and it had cosmetics that were a bit more flashy, but it still remained on track for the most part. Vanguard was Vanguard, but then Modern Warfare 2 was released. At first, Modern Warfare 2 seemed alright. A new free-to-play mode was dropped called DMZ, and although the Battle Pass system was changed up a little bit, it was still the same as it had always been for the most part. I think this was also the first Call of Duty that cost $70, and that was bound to bring controversy, but unfortunately that's just the way video game prices are going, you know, what with the economy and all. It's less of an Activision's greed thing and more of like a this was inevitable anyway sort of thing, if that makes sense. And then the collaborations began. Now I'll admit I wasn't really there for all of Modern Warfare 2's lifespan. Around that time I was actually starting to get back into Splatoon of all games. By the time of the 2022 Game Awards show, I was cheering on my dumb Squid Kid game when it had somehow beat Modern Warfare 2 for the best multiplayer game that year. I honestly made the right call there. Modern Warfare 2 had a painfully okay life cycle, and despite rumors that 2023 would be a break year for Call of Duty, the first one really ever, and that there would simply be an expansion DLC, Modern Warfare 3 was announced. Fans were worried, it was really suspicious with the reports we'd been getting up to that point saying that the game wasn't even supposed to exist, and then like 7 months before release we were just told it's going to be a full game. And Modern Warfare 3 was terrible. This isn't a Modern Warfare 3 review, so I ain't going to review it. Campaign was just bad. I don't know. I don't have words for it. Multiplayer was awful at the start, but by the end it was pretty good. And apparently the game had zombies. I don't know. All for the price of 70 fat ones, by the way. Ironically, I genuinely thought this was the time I was going to get into making content on a game. I hopped into one of my first Modern Warfare 3 matches thinking, this will be the year for me, I'm going to be a Call of Duty YouTuber, and then I got killed by a dude hanging onto a window and peeking over it, and I decided I would go missing in action for 2 years. But, before we continue, a little word from the channel partner. Are you tired of junk energy? And no, I'm not talking GTA Online. Do you want a new, clean alternative? If so, then give Dubby a shot. Dubby Energy is a new alternative to those other video gamer supplements that promise to give you a nice boost, but just leave you feeling a little groggy. With Dubby, you're going to get your boost without the crash. They've got a ton of flavors for you to try, including Japanese soda, beach and peach, and even some solo leveling inspired flavors, though those flavors will probably put you to sleep. Still sticking to the first-person shooter genre, another example of games being full price would be Battlefield 2042. Make maps that are too big and too bland, take out literally everything that makes Battlefield what it is, and you got 2042. Also, still unbelievably upset that they thought it was a good idea to ice pack, no bruise. Get it, guys? Funny. Anyways, Battlefield 6 looks really good. Seems like they're listening to fans, so that's promising. This is still EA and DICE we're talking about, though. Skate 4, or just Skate, period. That's what they want you to call it. I have to tiptoe around this one, so for legal reasons, I have to clarify that I'm only discussing officially shown gameplay here. I'm not speaking on any playtest leaks or anything of that matter. EA, please do not kill me. Anyway, the gameplay that I've seen is weak. The art style doesn't look like Skate at all. I'm okay with an art style change, but this just ain't it. And the selection of songs they've used in the trailers, just the trailers, nothing else, is also pretty lame. Now, while I cannot speak on how the game actually feels when being played because I don't have any experience, of course, what we've seen publicly so far has me nervous, and I know they took that weird route of saying that this game isn't a direct follow-up to Skate 3, but you know they're only saying that to avoid any argument of it doesn't feel like a Skate game at all. Why make a game called Skate set in a place called San Van if it's not even going to be within the ballpark of the first 3 games? And I realize Skate 4 is in San Vansterdam, while Skate 1 and 2 are in San Vanalona, but like, come on, man. This game just don't seem like it's going to tickle my pickle. I've seen reports of some other issues with the game that I will not be repeating here, as I'm sure EA is watching my every move. Oh yeah, and it's free to play, of course. That turned into a bit of a rant, but I never lost the plot. Gaming is going down a bad road. It's either free-to-play flops that tarnish the rep of a good series, or arguably even more detestable, a fully priced shit show that ends up with a 4 out of 10 for most gaming publications. Looking at you, Redfall. You can tell I'm a gamer who's qualified to talk about this kind of thing. I've been subscribed to Game Informer since before it was cool, and I read reviews for games I'm never going to play. But you can't go into the comments and tell me to branch out and play new stuff in order to enjoy it. I do branch out. My favorite games of the year so far are Mario Kart World and Deltarune. I'm going to buy Sonic Racing Cross Worlds at launch. I'm a competitive Splatoon 3 player, even if it's been a minute since I've competed seriously. Even with all that in mind, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that the gaming industry is kind of falling apart. Concord was such a failure that its Wikipedia page was talking about it in the past tense before it was even 2 weeks old. Xbox is just, well, they're in hell right now, and Nintendo's actually kind of doing pretty well. They've always gone against the grain, and what I mean by that is that ever since 2017, they've kind of been doing good. Good for them, very cool. So do I think all hope is lost and we're doomed? Nah, not really. Xbox has essentially locked itself away to whatever desolate fate befalls it, but Sony seemingly turned around and learned their lesson from Concuck. Sucks that the development studio behind it was immediately shut down, but Sony apparently canceled several live service games behind the scenes after Concord flopped, and then pivoted to more traditional paid games where you actually get content off rip, which is pretty cool. Nintendo's been dropping good games, so I'm not really worried about them. The whole keycard thing is a little troubling, but we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. Battlefield 6, as I mentioned previously, seems pretty promising. I enjoyed the first open beta weekend, and I will be back for round 2 this weekend, so there's that. Indie games are still carrying the whole industry in my opinion. Deltarune, as huge as it is still an indie game, and you just can't escape that on the internet. Really is 2016 Undertale all over again. So yeah, while I don't think it's all doom and gloom, I think we definitely need some changes, like the consoles themselves. For one, they need innovation. Xbox 360 arguably changed gaming as a whole. It brought this whole new layer of social interaction to play in your games, and it introduced the Xbox Live Arcade, allowing indies to thrive on console. It also popularized the concept of buying your games digitally. I mean, sure, I prefer physically owning discs, but anyone would be lying if they said digital isn't more convenient. PS3 brought some good stuff to the table too, like Blu-ray capabilities, Bluetooth audio for party chat, things of that sort. Not trying to sound biased, I just grew up with an Xbox 360, never really had a PS3, so I can't really speak on it from experience. Nowadays though, it's almost exclusively about which cool looking toaster can perform better. Rarely any innovation outside of frame rate and fidelity, and everything is so monetized to hell and bland that I'm really not motivated to pick up a new console. Until I've got no other choice at least. Hell, I was on my Xbox One S from 2017 until late last year when it finally died, thanks Black Ops 6. And even then I only picked up a Series S. If it can handle new releases for much cheaper than the Series X, I might as well just get that one. Another reason things look bad. The games themselves. I went over it earlier, but it isn't just the over-monetization and underwork done on these games. Full-price video games have always been a product, but they also used to be stress tests for their respective platforms. Developers used to look at their games and ask, how far can we take this? Now they look at their monetization systems and ask the same question. Battlefield 3 was released in 2011 for the Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. I may have not been very old then, but like I said, I grew up with an Xbox 360, and even when I was younger, the graphics that game boasted were insane for 2011. And it was a good game. That's the key element. You can have both. We're in a situation today where players are so burnt out by these companies trying to focus on photorealistic graphics and losing any fun gameplay in the development process that people are starting to grow a sort of disdain for that style. They want more sort of artistic styles now. Back then though, you could have both revolutionary visuals and gameplay. Profit came from success, from respect, and from good results. Nowadays the profit comes from microtransactions and games that burn out quickly like a dying star. Here's a big one for you. The content creators themselves. Ever notice how Twitch charts are used to describe if a game is dead or not? That culture growing has only led to more games actually dying. When those stats are posted and waved around, people who may have actually checked out a certain game will see them and decide it's not worth their time. Why play an online-only game if it's supposedly dying, right? Would just be wasted time in a few months when the servers are shut down. More and more people take that mindset until it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Nobody plays the game and it's axed. Sometimes, though, it's more on the creators' shoulders. Games where the developers pay and sponsor streamers to try their games. X-Defiant did this as far as I'm aware, paying off Call of Duty streamers to try it out during a time when Call of Duty was particularly hated 2 or 3 years back, and it worked for a while. But building their image solely on being a Call of Duty killer was temporary at best, and eventually the game lost that steam. Now it's gone. Hyperscape. Remember that one? The unique battle royale where instead of a circle closing in on you, sectors of the map became off limits, and to win you had to hold a crown at the end of the game for 60 seconds. Yeah, well, it went out the same way. Number 1 on Twitch, insanely popular for all of about 3 months at most. Went stagnant for a while in 2022 and then was shut down unceremoniously. It all circles back around to thinking that having your game at the top of people's talking lists on social media ensures its success. In the short term, yeah, maybe, but in the long term, you'll just have another Hyperscape, just another X-Defiant, just another Foam Stars, just another Evolve, just another Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, just another Redfall. Hope you liked that little commentary video. Might keep this style, might not. You all decide with your little like and dislike button presses as well as in the comment section down below. I'm upgrading my setup to hopefully have it ready in time for the release of I'm upgrading my setup to hopefully have it ready in time for the release of Battlefield 6 in October. Might make a series playing through its campaign since it looks promising, as well as some stuff with multiplayer. Might even revisit Battlefield 4 since I've been playing that again lately. Let me know in the comments what y'all want to see. But with that, it's been real. Your old partner Tanuki's tired of reading the script, so your old partner Tanuki is tapping out.